Hello everyone, good afternoon. Today is December 18th, 2023, Monday, 12:43. Let's briefly discuss the Forex market for today. Last Friday, the net profit was around $3,000 and the current net value is $626,000. Looking at today's market, it appears to be relatively quiet for the week. This is because, after all, we are approaching Christmas Eve at the end of the week. This week, there is less data available, and speeches from central bank governors and national leaders are also relatively scarce. Therefore, the market this week is more focused on technical analysis. First, let's look at the US dollar index. Last Friday, the US dollar index explored the bottom and rebounded. Today, from the daily chart perspective, it seems to favor a slight further rebound. Let's see if we can continue to rebound today. Since it's Monday, I personally believe that today's volatility may not be very high. Therefore, the strategy for the US dollar today is to go long on dips around 100 to 0.2, considering placing a long position. As for gold, last Friday, it experienced a scenario of rallying to a high and then falling back, similar to a pullback. The trend did not reach a new high, and as observed from the daily chart, gold seems to be in a further adjustment phase. For today, on an intraday basis, I personally think that gold may continue to adjust. Looking at today alone, gold might undergo further adjustment, and after today's candlestick is completed, we can reassess the trend for tomorrow and the day after. Given this perspective on gold, the strategy could be to go short on rebounds. The potential entry position for shorting gold could be around 2033 or 2034, considering a bearish stance. Regarding crude oil, from the weekly chart perspective, there was a strong bullish signal with a long needle probing the body of the candlestick. For this week, it suggests the possibility of further upward movement in crude oil prices. The strategy could involve going long on pullbacks. To pinpoint an entry position, looking slightly above the point where it retraced last week, around 70.9, could be considered. This indicates a consideration to initiate a long position in crude oil. For the euro, yesterday's daily chart showed a large bearish candle, indicating a somewhat bearish bias. Therefore, considering the euro's outlook, the strategy is to sell on rallies, with a possible short entry point around 1.0955. For the British pound, similar to the euro, it formed a large bearish candle on the daily chart yesterday, suggesting a somewhat bearish sentiment. Therefore, considering the pound's outlook, the strategy is to sell on rebounds, with a potential short entry point around 1.274, or in the vicinity of 1.274. After that, considering today's data, the US dollar has shown some resilience due to its rebound yesterday. Therefore, for today, the strategy is to consider buying on dips for the US dollar, with a potential long entry point around 100 to 0.2. As for gold, the strategy is to sell on rebounds, with a potential short entry point around 2034. Regarding crude oil, the approach is to buy on pullbacks, with a potential long entry point around 70.93. For the euro, the strategy is to sell on rebounds, with a potential short entry point around 10955. Finally, for the British pound, the strategy is also to sell on rebounds, with a potential short entry point around 1.274.